Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Healing in Gemini. This week is going to be a little different. I am doing a solo recording. Unfortunately, Shell was not able to make it this week. So, you guys are going to listen to my beautiful voice for the next 25 to 30 minutes. So, our last episode, we touched upon our relationship with our fathers, which we both stated is very crucial to a young woman growing up. Dads are our first loves, essentially, and when that bond is kind of broken, it kind of sways individuals to kind of feel or act a certain way. And when we last spoke about it, I kind of mentioned that I was very healed from the relationship with my dad, which essentially is none. And to be honest, after the recording of the episode, it really kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I was extremely emotional after recording last week's episode. It really triggered a lot for me, which is okay. As we've stated before, healing is not linear whatsoever. Healing can take many shapes and forms. Triggers are always bound to happen. It's just how do we cope with the triggers? How do we move forward instead of reverting back into old patterns, old cycles that essentially harm us and our mental health? So, I did want to talk about kind of how it affected me and what I did to move through it. So, after the recording, I was driving in my car and out of nowhere, I just started hysterically crying. Like I was ugly bawling crying. And I could not understand why. And then when I got closer to my destination, I really started reflecting on my previous relationship, my previous marriage, and how the first time I found evidence of him cheating on me was about 4 days before my birthday. And the day that I was really triggered was exactly 4 days right before my birthday. So I don't know if it just correlated to the anniversary of that or just everything else. And I really struggled with just kind of my self-worth, my self-validation for the day, which really sucked because it was my birthday weekend and I just wanted to be happy and all smiles and celebrate. But this really struck me. So I essentially went to a pond, and the pond had a waterfall. And I just sat by the waterfall and I kind of said certain things out loud towards my ex-husband, which was really hard for me because I hold a lot of anger still and I hold a lot of resentment towards that relationship. That relationship really did a number on me. It kind of brought me to like the lowest point that I've ever been at. I completely stopped loving myself within that relationship. And I think that the recording of us speaking about our dads really kind of resonated in terms of just my self-worth. And it manifested because my dad and I don't have that relationship, so I don't feel worthy in his eyes. And even though I feel like I've moved on from it, clearly it triggered me. So at the pond, I, was just basically stating, I forgive you and I release you, which I've done many times before. But this time felt really significant. I felt stronger after stating what I had to say. And also, it really helped that I was able to speak my ex-husband's name out loud, which is something I was not able to do before. And after doing that, after ugly crying, I really felt a good relief and sense of release. And I do just want to touch upon that because I feel like it's very big talking about a healing journey, and we see it a lot on social media. And unfortunately, sometimes what's presented is kind of just you push through the trauma and you're just healed, like it's magic. And that's just not the reality. Reality is you will move forward and you will move backwards and move forward again and move backwards. And that is okay. There's nothing to beat yourself up about. It's healing is such a strange journey. And even when we think we're completely healed, like I thought I was, you get triggered. And triggers can make or break you, really. Um, triggers are, I feel like it's a good kind of like measurement of where you are within your journey, because even though I was really triggered before, I would have allowed a trigger to kind of take me to a low for a couple of days and kind of sulk and get in my head and overthink. Whereas this time even though I was questioning the trigger and, I didn't really understand where it was coming from until I was able to do that release. Um, I really feel like I was able to release, and it allowed me to kind of move forward within that aspect versus me kind of going into my old habits, my old cycles of letting it bring me down. And I think it's so easy to allow ourselves to get into that dark place because unfortunately it's comfortable. Um, but that's not what healing is about. Healing is about pushing through, being stronger, and knowing your worth. And that's something else I want to touch on for today, because even after kind of like pushing through that trigger, I spoke to my husband about it, and even he stated, no, like we shouldn't allow others to dictate our self worth. And I feel that it's something that's very tough to do. I feel that that starts with our parents naturally. Um, when you're a kid, your parents are put them on pedestals. They are the all-knowing adult. They take care of us. They have all the answers essentially. And a lot of our self-validation comes from them when we're younger. And, it we do it in different ways, getting good grades or helping around the house, which is all great, but we need to learn that we don't need validation from our parents. It's just kind of, I don't want to say acceptance because I feel like acceptance is the wrong word, but just kind of like building that relationship with them. And when we get older, then we look for acceptance from, our friends at school, and then boyfriends, girlfriends, and teachers. And I really feel like what's not taught enough is self-love, is you are enough. You don't need anyone else to validate you. And the self-validation is truly what heals us. It really does make the difference. And looking for acceptance within others, it's so damaging to our mental health because at the end of the day, we cannot please everyone. So I think really what we need to do is really just teach loving ourselves at a younger age, teaching confidence, um, teaching that, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but really others' opinions about us is not important. It's a reflection of the other individual, which is pretty hard to do in today's society because social media takes such a precedence of our time. And essentially what that is it's validation from others. It's posting their latest vacation pics and how successful someone is, but it doesn't show all the struggles. It doesn't show the real life. And unfortunately, this is what the younger generation is seeing, and they kind of look up to that type of lifestyle, which it's just not real. And hopefully that's something that we can change with this podcast. Hopefully we can show you some authenticity and realness and how we struggle, but we keep striving and we keep pushing forward, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, just moving forward and becoming the best version of yourself. And I really thank you guys for listening to me rant and rave today. I truly appreciate it. This podcast has been a dream of mine for a long time, and I'm just so happy that Sean and I get to bring you a little piece of ourselves, and we get to grow with you as a community, and we only hope that we can inspire truth and growth with our weekly podcasts and still have fun along the way. And please don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Healing in Gemini, as well as we are now on Spotify. And I cannot wait for next week when we bring Shell back. She was definitely missed today. And we love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.